Like these two seem to be the key performance indicators in your job, right?
Let me first, tell you the best part of my job is actually managing you.
Having client satisfaction score and then, of course, associate satisfaction at the same time.
When it comes to client satisfaction, every penny that the client spends, they get something in return for it.
We want to know what is happening within your internal marketing teams with others.
Okay, so you want to get some classified information out of me today, huh?
Salam everyone, this is your host Ramsha Fatima and I'm stepping in for Yaver Siddiqui. Welcome to another episode of People of RepStack. Today we have with us a very dynamic and a very disciplined person we have in RepStack. One of the best things we boast about RepStack is that we have about 61% female workforce. And when I say force, we actually feel that in RepStack where we have female in all the leading positions. But this person is an exception. He is, as of today, the only male CSM, a client success manager in RepStack. So let's find out how he's acing it within RepStack. We have with us Mr. Shaiba Akhtar Khan. Welcome, Shaiba.
Assalamu alaikum, Ramsha. Thank you so much for having me and thank you for the amazing intro. So I am doing good. How about yourself?
Walaikum assalam, Shaiba. I'm good. Thank you for joining us today. So before we dive into the formal podcast interview session, I know how gracefully you handle the introspection that comes with your name. So for the audience, can you share what does Shaiba mean?
Definitely. And I was actually planning to tell the audience what my name means.
Okay.
So it is of Arabic origin and it is, literally it means someone with gray hair on the side of their head. I know it's pretty boring. But in literature, it is referred to someone as who is really wise. Mm-hmm. And a couple of days back, I was actually doing some research on my own name because for the longest time, Ramsha, I wanted to change my name as well. But then, after some research that I did, I got to know that it has, great significance in the Islamic history as well. Mm-hmm. So it was also the birth name for our, beloved Prophet's grandfather, who we know as Hazrat Abdul Muttalib. Mm-hmm. And other than that, Al-Shaibi is the family in Saudi Arabia that holds the keys to Kaaba. So that is all of the significance that, I got to know about my name with some research. And yeah, that is what it means.
Uh-huh. And yes, we see on day-to-day basis how wise you are as a person. So your name has a great impact on your personality, no doubt. So the wise decisions you have made in your life, one of that is that you were an electrical engineer. So today you could have been making, microchips to read human brains, but instead you chose to read human faces and gestures on Zoom calls. So what that shift, why that happened?
Well, I was, for a quite long period, I was working in electrical engineering as well. Mm-hmm. But to be honest, digitalization is the future. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I say this is that for the longest time, marketing has been the backbone of economy. So if, I have this glass of water in front of me, and if the water inside this glass is the money or the wealth that is coming into your country, mm-hmm. then there are two types of wealth that can, come into the country. I can either take a spoon and stir this glass, or I can add more water to this glass. Mm-hmm. So digital marketing with just a computer and a internet connection allows users to bring in foreign wealth into the country, increasing the amount of water in the glass. So that is the reason, why I shifted to digital marketing. And I think it has been a very wise decision of my life, as my name suggests. So that is, one of the deciding factors why I opted for digital marketing after completing my electrical engineering.
Right, Shaiba. So you are currently serving as a client success manager in RepStack. And we know it is a very, very critical position, very, it comes with great responsibility as well. So could you please explain what is this position actually, what we have to do being a client success manager, and how is this different from other roles that we see like account management or project management or customer support? How is that different from that?
Definitely. So account management and client success management is, just one and the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. My main role in RepStack is to make sure that the revenue that sales bring into the company stays with us as recurring revenue. That is number one thing. We call it client retention. Mm-hmm. And the number two thing, and which is more important, I think, is taking care of my people. So I am managing around 37 associates at the time and 27 clients, but taking care of all of the revenue that is, in the company, I think the more important thing is to take care of the people, because every time when you are on a management role and you're taking care of people, your responsibility skyrockets, right? You want to make sure that they're happy, they're satisfied with their jobs, and you want to make sure that the clients are happy as well. So this is a beautiful dance between the associates and the client satisfaction that we take care of at RepStack.
So as you say, like these two seem to be the key performance indicators in your job, right? Having client satisfaction score and then, of course, associate satisfaction at the same time. So if you could explain us with examples, how are you achieving it, particularly in your position within RepStack?
So when it comes to client satisfaction, we basically aim on, making sure that every penny that the client spends, they get something in return for it. We definitely don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but we want to make sure that we are delivering everything that we promise the clients for. And as long as we're doing that, the clients are satisfied. As long as you're getting bang for your buck, you're going to be satisfied, right? And as for the associate side, we make sure that they never feel that they are being pressured, overburdened, overworked, or anything like that. Because associates are our number one priority at RepStack. That might come as a surprise to many of the people, but we really, when it comes to, retaining a client and retaining an associate, we focus more on retaining the associate because, as I said before, they're the number one priority. And just, making sure that their work and their time is well balanced. They have a work-life balance in their lives. I think that is all that we want to make sure of.
Yes, I agree to that. Like we have RepStack Success Academy, and if an associate is off-boarded, they get, to be in the RSA again, where they, get trainings and then get interviewed with other clients and ultimately get onboarded again. So yes, RepStack has this associate retention policy, and we of course admire that, no doubt. But you, Shaiba, as you know, you are the only male CSM we have in RepStack, and when you joined and you became my manager, the first question I asked Shaiba, is everything okay? What are you doing here? So how do you feel about working alongside, like before you, I had 5 female CSMs, and we had a very different way of communication with them. Like we always used to rant like typical girls rant, right? So when you joined and I started discussing my issues with you, and you, as you are wise enough, you started giving me a very different perspective of how should I be handling my situation with my client. And I absolutely love that. I would have never thought the situation that way. The Shaiba has given me a very different perspective of the situation. So how do you feel this culture of RepStack? What do you feel about, being positioned as the only male CSM?
That's an excellent question, Ramsa. So let me first, tell you the best part of my job is actually managing you, because there's nothing to manage. You have excellent work ethics. You're always, on top of things, and I always get good feedback about you. So that's, the lesser part of my job that I have to work on. But being alongside other female CSMs is really good, because Team CS is more like a family and less like a group of colleagues working at RepStack. Not only do we talk about work, but we talk about our personal lives. We talk about our even pets. Like we have everything in common. And then there is a wonderful thing that we do with the CSM team. And I'm not sure if any other teams are doing it, but I would really recommend, if you guys are watching the podcast, you need to start doing this as well. So what we do is that every year, for example, anyone's birthday comes up, we all pool in and we buy them what they really want. Right. So that is something that we, everyone at Team CS get excited for. And it is just something that has boosted our relationship altogether. And, we feel like home at most of the times.
So that's a great addition. I didn't know CS was doing this. So Shaiba, as you have mentioned the tradition that you guys are following within the CS team. We have a very great culture within RepStack as a company as well. So you have been here for over 9 months, I guess. That's a good time.
That's correct.
So what do you think about the culture we have with RepStack? Because Siddiqui brothers say that we have worked really hard to maintain a culture for this company. So what do you think, what we have achieved so far?
That's actually a really good question, Ramsa. So I've been in the corporate sector for quite some time now, a couple of years with the engineering companies and then a couple of years with the digital marketing companies. And trust me when I say this, RepStack is nailing it right in the head when it comes to work culture.
Mm-hmm.
So, starting from small things like coffee breaks to work from office days to, having quarterly dinners. And who can forget the annual RepStack event?
Oh, yes.
And the best part, about the Rep Camp, the best part is that you don't have to worry about anything. They take care of your flight tickets and hotel stays as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that RepStack has really worked hard, and I completely believe it when you say that the Siddiqui brothers have really put in their heart and soul into building this culture.
Mm-hmm.
And that is wonderful, the culture here at RepStack.
Mm-hmm. So, if we try to convince people, because people have their own, aspirations when they see the corporate sector, maybe, of course, they would be looking for the best pay packages, if not the culture. They have their own inclinations towards different factors that they look into the job sector. So because you have worked in the engineering sector as well, if you could give us a little bit comparison, like what you have faced, what challenges you faced in that sector, and what were the circumstances that you opted for a CSM position within RepStack?
When it comes to comparing working in an engineering company than to working in RepStack, which is a completely, a shift of 180 degrees.
Yes.
It's digital marketing. I think there are some key differences here. Number one, you want to align your priorities and preferences. Because right now, to be really honest with you, the market is saturated with people with similar skill.
Mm-hmm.
And what we are doing here, being digital marketers, is something completely different than what an orthodox person is going to think a job feels like, right? Working from home even is something that people take time to adapt to. And that is, where you got to step in and make a decision. If you want to continue down the road where everyone else is following, or if you want to break free and start something that no one has really thought about. So I think it has been, 4.5 years that RepStack has been. So within 4 years, or let's say 5 years, let's round it off. So we have come so far. And being a part of a company that's building, because relatively RepStack is still a baby, right? Into the digital marketing world. Being a part of a company that is building is a opportunity in itself. Because you want to be a part of it when it's building, right? So I think that was a no-brainer. And a lot of people know this by now, but maybe some of them don't know. But I do have family working at RepStack as well. That was a huge motivation because I did, see the good time that my family members were having and how they enjoyed working. So that is also one of the deciding factors for me that I changed my direction to RepStack.
Right. So if Shaiba, we want to know what is happening within your internal marketing teams with Azhar. So I guess you guys conduct different sessions with Azhar where he's bringing in some new ideas and introducing some new books even for you guys to read. So just to get a little bit insights of what's happening in those meetings.
Okay, so you want to get some classified information out of me today, huh?
Yes, because I don't know what's happening there, but I'm still very impressed of what, tidbits of that information I'm getting from you guys. So what's happening? I need to know the details.
Okay, so one of the things that is a huge win for the CS team, and let me just, break it here for you, is that we recently got something approved from the finance team. And it is in your benefit. It is in benefit for all of our associates. And that is the 1-year retention freeze. So what happens now is that if the associate stays with a client and they retain the client for 1 year or more than 1 year, we are going to go ahead and freeze their retention commission right there and then. For as long as they're back on the bench, they're not going to get it. But usually our genies, and for the audience, let me tell you what genies are. So genies are the associates that are placed with the client, and then they get offboarded and go back to the RepStack Success Academy to get their skill set polished. They're the associates that we call genies. So every time, they go on the bench, they only stay there for less than a week, or something that I've experienced is that I have other clients waiting for the same associate even before they're offboarded.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever they come back on the client account, they're going to get their retention commission from exactly the point where they left off. And that is the 1-year retention freeze that we recently got approved. And that's a huge win, for the entire team.
It is, because I have my friends who are still in RSA and waiting to get onboarded, and that's going to be a great news for them. Not just getting a new client, but of course getting the retention money into their pay scales right away. So of course it's going to be, and this is the first informal announcement of this great news already, right? So we already know about this from Shaiba. Thank you for this. So Shaiba, if I may ask you about, as you said, you have your family members within RepStack, and we also, enjoy. So if you could explain what different roles they are placed in and why you chose to be the CSM.
So I think one of the reasons why we all are going to be in different roles is because that's a policy. We cannot be in the same team, right? But no, I'm just kidding. So I have 2 sisters working at RepStack. Mm-hmm. One of them is working in sales, and the other one is working in the team EA. Mm-hmm. So Aruj, she's the director of sales, and Sumaya, people here know her by Sam. Yes. But initially when, I got to know that people call her Sam here, I was a little confused because a couple of times my manager asked me, Shaiba, asked Sam to do this. And I was like, Mom, I don't know who Sam is. And then she, told me who Sam is. And then I got to know, oh, that's my sister. Okay, I'll go ahead and ask her to do that. So, yeah, these are the 2 siblings that I have working. Mm-hmm. So we are now 3 Akhtar brothers and sisters working together in the same company and very happily working.
And we really admire you guys have opted to join RepStack, because I have been with Aruj. Aruj is the senior most human asset we have in RepStack. And then Sam, Sumaya, is the first, female face of the podcast. Before even I, started hosting this, she was conducting it with Azhar. And you mentioned Maham Nehal. Oh my God, a beast, right? So Maham Nehal was my first ever CSM. And then she became my director, and we hardly now communicate. She's become so busy with everything. But she was my first ever CSM. She joined the time when I joined, and I really admire the way she works. So Shaiba, we are going to wrap up this episode, and I got great insights from you. But before wrapping up, we have this fun question that we ask from everyone, and we need a very clear, honest answer for this, right? So there's no, bribing and no biased answer. Just give me one, or choose one option from this. So who is your favorite Siddiqui brother? And I need to know the reason why you chose one.
Okay, so you decided to get me in trouble just, when the podcast was ending. It is hard to pick one. Mm-hmm. And I think that just because my interaction has been most with Akhtar, he's our manager. He is, managing the CS team. So I'm going to say Akhtar Siddiqui is... someone that I've really interacted with, known him, and worked with him, and attended a lot of meetings. Every time we are on the same meeting, there is something that I learn, before getting off. So it feels like a opportunity to, be in meetings with someone who's so experienced and well-versed. So, yeah.
So guys, Akhtar has got 2 votes here. The last time we interviewed Emma, he also chose Akhtar, and then Shaiba this time again. So Akhtar, this is another win for you. Congratulations. So Shaiba, thank you for coming here today. I enjoyed this episode to the full extent. Thank you for joining us. Do you have anything else that you would like to share with the audience? Any insights, any advice for the newcomers who are thinking to join RepStack?
I actually have a question for you, Ramsha.
Oh God. Don't ask me who's my favorite Siddiqui brother. Other than that, ask me anything.
You actually stole the words out of my mouth. So, Ramsha,
Okay.
who is your favorite Siddiqui brother?
Guys, I'm sitting on the host seat. I'm not on the hot seat. I shouldn't be answering that.
It's okay. It's okay. It's sometimes okay to, be the guest of your own podcast.
Okay. I will be very diplomatic about this because I've interacted with all the three Siddiqui brothers. So I know great qualities and great unique qualities from all of the Siddiqui brothers we have. But if I had to choose one, because every one of them talks the most about the female of their home, right? So we know the Siddiqui mom, the mom of the brothers, and then we know about their wives, and of course we know about their daughters as well. So if I had to choose anyone from the Siddiqui family, if not the Siddiqui brothers, because we interact with them on day-to-day basis, but someone I would like to meet and discuss and probably have an interview, a podcast with her, that would be the mom of Siddiqui brothers, because how she managed to pull off this, I don't know. I
The
cannot
MVP.
even imagine. Yes. So a VP, of course. And if I had to choose, because I'm a woman myself, I would be biased. And I know, because Yaver had a podcast with one of his friends, and that's on YouTube as well. And he was telling that we had some really tough time in our childhood. And then when I got my first salary, I bought some bangles from my mom. So I know what she has been through as a woman, so I would love to know more from her, like how she managed to give such a great brought up. And when I know what we have got from our parents, I don't think I could be a businesswoman at some point in life, because I don't have that thing in my brought up. But how she managed to bring the entrepreneurial skills out of her sons is something exceptional. So if I had to choose, I won't choose the Siddiqui brothers, I would choose their mom.
That is awesome. Okay, so Mom, you got one vote, and that's a win for you as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I totally understand. And that's actually a really good answer.
Thank
you. Passed the test.
I think I was prepared for this one. One day somebody would ask me that, and that was you, of course. So Shaiba is my manager, and he could ask me such questions. I have to answer them. I've got no other option. My increment is on the way, after 6 months. So what can I do, right? So thank you, Shaiba. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, audience, for listening to this episode. Keep listening and watching to our channel, and we'll bring up more inspirational stories from RepStack and People of RepStack. Thank you for listening to us today. Allah Hafiz.